Welcome back, everybody. This is the Bodacious Rant with the ever so loving and handsome Burnin' Rye. It is a sweltering day in LA, even though I'm at the beach and it's like 70 something. It just feels humid.
There's a heat. There's a heat out here.
My room does no AC, no ventilation, so it's just I'm like Ace Ventura and that rhino. Just,
Oh no!
just
Warm.
you just hear me go, no, Mayday! Just, oh man.
That
Anyways,
scene will never not make me laugh.
that's one of those scenes that's just timeless. No matter, it doesn't need any context. You watch it and you already know what's going on. But anyways, we're gonna jump right into it. This is a bittersweet week, with Loki, the season 1 finale, emphasis on the season 1, and I have to say, man, this was such a great send-off for this show. A show I had no intention of even maybe watching or liking this year. But right now, I'm going to say after this whole season, easily my favorite Marvel show this year.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't expect to say that, but this was such a great way to end it. But
yeah, I mean,
shall we jump in?
Yeah, not to say that the other two shows that we've gotten so far are bad or anything.
No,
They're
yeah.
not. They're still very, very good. Especially, WandaVision. That was particularly pretty great. But yeah, this one is just like, oh, man.
Whole nother
It's
level
another
of just
level.
epicness. Yeah. It's like WandaVision I thought was epic. Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was like, damn, this is pretty intense.
That one was a little bit more inconsistent, but man, its highs really hit. It really hit with that show.
Yeah. But this was just all around fantastic. Let's jump straight into it, shall we, Burns?
Let's do it.
How about the intro to this with the whole Marvel credits and just so many quotes from the movies and the entire MCU? I was like, damn. Especially hearing Chadwick Boseman's like, Wakanda forever. I was like, oh man, that's sad.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to hear.
Yeah, that was so cool. I wish Marvel did that a little bit more, like playing around with the whole the fanfare in the beginning, which the fanfare is pretty great. Like I like the whole, it gets you into the mood of like, oh man, I'm about to watch a Marvel movie. This is dope. But we've seen it and heard it so much. It's like y'all can play around with it a little bit, and the fact that they took quotes and different moments from all the previous movies, and then even interjecting a lot of little real life quotes and stuff. I thought that was really interesting too. Like almost kind of made it feel like, oh, this is all real. It's like, oh man, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. That was really cool. It definitely, again, because it's through the entire MCU. It's kind of setting the stage like this show is basically impacting everything, like this episode specifically. And that's when we, find Loki and Sylvie at the Citadel at the end of time.
Yeah.
The end of time or outside time. I'm not sure how they put it.
Citadel at the end of time, which is such a cool name.
And then that little clock thing, I forgot what it's called.
Oh,
the
Miss
hologram
Minutes?
for the Miss Minutes. Yeah, she's again like a typical prelude to meeting the show's villain. She's just offering him a deal like, Loki, what if you killed the Avengers? Like, you finally won New York, you killed Thanos, you got the stones, and Sylvie, the life you had, like, now you can, if we just do this, it'll make everything easier. And they're like, screw you. And then she disappears like, oh, you little, ugh, can't stand you stupid little clock.
It's like, I knew it. I knew you were in on this shit.
She's not just some dumb programmer assistant. She's actually, there's something more.
Yeah, she's
to
like
her,
a sentient being or something, like she's, like you said, yeah, she's not just a program that the TVA uses. She's not Alexa.
No, definitely not Alexa, nor that annoying Siri, just because she'll go off when I press. It doesn't matter. We're getting off the track. But, and then before, we get really into it, just Ravonna and Mobius's side story, that was not bad. Just Ravonna trying to find out who created the TVA just to either save them or just basically just keep herself in power, essentially. So
yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah, like her.
And when Miss Minutes gave her the stuff, she's like, "This is what I asked for." He's like, "He thought that might be better for you to read." It's like, I'm sorry, what? Like, even she had the face, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, like who now? Like, oh man, like yeah, like you were saying, like she really wants to stay in power. Like she's very dogmatic, almost like a bit of a zealot to the TVA and what it stands for. Like she, with her line saying that the only people with free will are the ones in power. It's like, oh man, like and again, like her final line, I think, of the show where she says, I'm going to go in search of free will. Like Like she's really like dedicated to the TVA and what it's supposed to stand for because that's really all she knows, and she's really holding on to that idea. So it's like, oh, that's such an interesting dimension for a character, you know, that where they know that what they're serving is bullshit, but they just know nothing else and they really want to hang on to that.
I mean, she was giving Mobius smack for saying, "Oh, you threw our friendship and our loyalty away for 2 Loki variants." It's like, yeah, you're the most manipulated one. You're still die hard about this, like B-15, and then the other time under starting to realize, like, shit, we're all variants. Especially when they saw Ravonna before she was Ravonna at a school.
Yeah.
I guess she was like a principal or a teacher, but so I thought that's kind of like one of that hypocritical moments. Like she's criticizing him for just abandoning it. It's like, yeah, but he's abandoning it because he knows more, not and you know more, but you refuse to do it. So it's like, who's the real manipulated one here?
Yeah, it's super realistic. You know, we see that happen. You know, with people like you know the truth, and you either go one way with it or you go another way. And you know, it's cool seeing like with her and Mobius, like just like the contradiction there, like seeing that both paths play out is super interesting.
Exactly. And then that's when we finally get to see Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror, or just Kang. I mean, technically he wasn't the Conqueror himself. He was just Kang.
Yeah, he who remains. Like how they refer to him as like almost like a Voldemort. You know, he who shall not be named. It's like, whoa. So this is
exactly. I thought that was really crazy. I'm sorry, my camera's just there. We go. Now I'm back. I was being fuzzy, but anyways, yeah. When we see Kang, and you know he's just kind of being like a quirky dude. He's so weird. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, I was not expecting that by far. That was like on the list of like how I think how I thought Kang would be portrayed. That was like pretty low on the list.
I thought he was going to potentially be like a Dr. Manhattan or like Thanos-like character, but it's like, no, not at all. He's kind of like almost like a crazy hobo where he's just, you know, being super kooky and just like almost talking nonsense with them, but not almost like, actually I would equivalent him to the Joker where he's just making fun of everything.
Yeah.
And
where like he knows the game and because he's like written it, so he's like she's like Ravonna said, he's the only real one there with free will, and he's just so unpredictable. It's like, oh man, this is an interesting dynamic or an interesting direction to take this character.
Yeah, and like Sylvie's trying to just like slash at him, but he's just like using his own little tent pad stone thing to just jump around like, yeah, I already know what's going to happen. And that's when he finally tells him everything. Like, you know, everything has been set up for you guys to get here. Everything I've planned for this to happen. And, you know, saying, oh, yeah, like, I found the multiverse in the 31st century. And I met my other variants. We were peaceful at one point. And then all of a sudden, it was a power grab. We all started attacking each other. So I created the TVA to prevent that from happening again.
Yeah.
And he's just, again, toying with them. And I could tell Sylvie, and they played that off so well. You know, Sophie DiMartino and
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston, thank you. I almost forgot. But they just played off so well. Like, you could tell Sylvie's very upset and just pissed. But Loki is kind of like just downtrodden and like trying to figure out. Like, he's constantly thinking, and she just has her eyes set just to kill him. And I love that whole like exchange. That whole scene was so well done, and just the beautiful visual of just the physical timeline outside of the Citadel. Like, he's literally keeping his eye on the timeline, kind of like in the beginning of the season where she's saying the timekeepers are keeping their eye on this. They're very important.
Yeah, like they're always watching. Yeah,
and it's like he literally is always watching everything. So I thought that was a little cool play on words. But, you know, as the conversation goes on, he basically says, you know, I've planned it all to this point, but now I don't know what happens. Now, we could go about this 2 ways. One, you guys could run the TVA, tell everybody the truth, and just run it how you want to run it. Or, you know, like, you kill me, you risk my other variants coming and the multiverse just crashing down on each other. So, what would you rather have? Total chaos or control?
Yeah, that's such a crazy concept, though. Like essentially, like he said, like, you know, he paved the road and all they did was just walk it. It's like, essentially, this has all been one big elaborate retirement plan for him, because he's just like, I'm done. You know, like, this is something that I've been doing for years and years and years. Like, you wouldn't even imagine. So it's like, I'm either way, like, either I'm dead or you taking over. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, and it kind of reminded me of Sicario, where the whole point of that movie was like, commentary on like the drug war and stuff, like the war on drugs, and even if you take out one cartel, multiple will. It's a power grab, and that's essentially what he was hinting at. Is like you take down one devil, you welcome it for another one to take over, or many more in that instance.
Yeah, it's like, who would you rather deal with, like me, the necessary evil, or the infinite versions of me, which could be like so much worse.
Yeah, the devil you know is the devil. Is the devil you don't, and just when I kind of saw that part coming where Sylvie just wants to kill him, but Loki actually like saying, "Stop, let's think about this, please. Like, if we kill one dictator, what happens? Like, we're just opening it up for more dictators to show up, and we don't want that. Like, he's gotten to a point where he's done with trying to be a ruler and all that stuff. Thank God." Now he's a true hero, essentially.
Yeah,
and
there isn't like some sort of backdoor like thing that he's gonna try to do. There isn't a game here. There isn't like his own motivation. He's just like, no, this is what does he say? He's like, the stakes here are just like too great for us to get this wrong. It's like
everything we know and love, everything we know will be gone if we do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like he understands the gravity of it, but she's like, I came here to do this, and this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I thought I knew you better. And it's like, Sylvie, come on, like, you're just being in denial here. And that was such a great moment where he like pauses it, like he appears in front of her and she's about to stab him. He's like, I just want you, I want you to be happy. And then they finally kiss each other, like, which is so weird because it's so romantic, but at the same time, like, it's just kissing yourself, like you're loving yourself. Either way, it's weird.
It's like it's a total. It brings up those same mixed emotions, people also had when Jon Snow and Daenerys got together. It's like, ooh, this is cool, but
no, that's different. That was incest. That was incest. We're not talking about that. That's definitely something I didn't approve of. I was so upset with that. And then the last season just sucked. This didn't suck though.
This one didn't suck.
And then when Sylvie finally says, I'm not you, it's like, what? And she pushes him through the portal. It's like, oh my God, how dare you? But again, it's funny because I was just thinking when I was watching them, like, if it was the opposite, people would have been fine with it, like Loki doing that. So it's just like, F you to sexist and stuff. Women can do that too. So I like that it flipped that. I like that Sylvie was just staying focused on the mission, and Loki, through his growth, realized like there's got to be more to it than this.
Yeah, everything that played out here was, again, with a credit to the writing, it was all understandable. Like, we have this reformed Loki who's gone through this huge character change, and now he's the one that's a little bit more like, hold on, like, we got to think about this before where usually he would like put himself or his interests above the greater good. He's now putting the greater good before himself. And but with Sylvie, she hasn't had that really. She's just been this person on a mission. Like she's on this revenge mission to get back at the people who essentially took away an entire lifetime from her, where she's like had to be on the run since she was a little girl. Jumping from different ends of worlds to different ends of worlds. It's like, man, like she's really had a really bad life, and now she has that moment to like inflict that pain onto someone else. But if she does that, what happens? It's like, it's such a conundrum, and I thought that was such a great point, or a great climax to like end the show on, just like this really weighty decision.
Yeah, I mean, again, like how we were talking about before, it just really shows their dynamic. Like Loki grew up with family, went through so much crap, and saw his whole life play before him, essentially, literally, in the beginning of the season. And Sylvie's just been on the run, surviving. Like, she doesn't know that, like, love and affection and heartbreak. She's only ever known, like, anger and stuff. And that's what we've seen, what it does to these people.
Yeah.
Like, Loki finally found love within himself, essentially, Sylvie, and he just, she rejected it. Like, I don't want that. I want my vengeance.
Yeah, it's just like Loki says in their conversation. He's like, you can't trust anybody, and I can't be trusted. Like, our life paths had led us to this impasse, and it's like, man, it's such a pickle.
Great dialogue.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna say that right now. Great writing on that. And then we see Sylvie finally doing Kang the Conqueror, just stab him right there, and it's like, and nobody feels better for him. Like, that was the sad part. She's just like,
and just that ominous message he leaves around, just like, I'll see you soon. Just like a wink, like, oh man, like, he wasn't bluffing. This everything that he said, like, he would have no reason to lie to you at this point. Like, man, you might have just like screwed everything up, and then what's even worse for her is like it didn't make her feel better, and revenge usually doesn't, you know.
No, that's what Ellie learned in Last of Us Part 2, but that's a whole
This...
whole other debate for people. Yeah, and then, when we see Loki at the TVA, I'm thinking like, okay, he's fine. He's going to tell Mobius the thing, and Mobius and B-15, they're just watching the timeline on their little monitor just sprint off, and then outside the Citadel, all the branches are splintering off into other stuff. It's like, oh shit, this is bad. Like, this is really, really, really bad. And I like their repetition of that line that's so famous in the TVA, is just for all time, how is it? Is it for all time always?
Yeah.
Did I say that right? Yeah, just for all time, like always. Like, we thought we had our work cut out for ourselves. Now we really got to worry about
now
this.
we got all time, all different variations of times. Like, damn.
And I didn't pick up on it when I first watched it, but looking back when Loki runs over to Mobius and B-15 in the library, is like, so what does he want us to do? He just wants us to, like, sit on this? And it's like, what? And he's like, guys, we killed him. It's going to be worse. There's going to be way more of him coming. It's like, whoa, who are you? Like, do you remember your name? Like, what timeline you're from? It's like, what are you talking about? And I thought, I was like, yeah, what the hell are you talking about, Mobius?
Yeah.
But then when he looks over, and it's like that Planet of the Apes scene with Mark Wahlberg, where you just look up, and instead of seeing 3 timekeepers, you just see the OG Kang the Conqueror in his like tunic thing, just standing proud as a statue. It's like, oh shit, that's not right. That's not good. Like, goddamn.
Oh no, reality as you know it is no more. Like, this is the new reality now, and you've just unleashed it upon the multiverse.
Yeah, that was quite the pill to swallow.
What a note to end on.
Yeah, and then watching the mid-credits where you see right at the end of all the title stuff, you just see the stamp, Loki returns season 2. I was like, yes! Yeah. Like, okay, we definitely need a season 2 to this,
Oh, absolutely.
I think this one is definitely a show that needs a season 2, whereas, like, Falcon, he's Captain America in his own movie. Wanda is going to be in Doctor Strange's movie. I almost said Dr. Fate. But... So I this one definitely deserved it. And before we finish up, man, I praise them enough, but it's like Owen Wilson, Tom Hiddleston, Sophie DiMartino, and Wunmi Masaku, and Gugu Mbatha Raw. You guys did such a great job. Yeah. Like, everybody, fantastic acting. And just a thing to the writers and everybody behind the scenes. Like, you guys you made one of the best shows this year. Like, I mean, is it as good as Invincible? Sort of, not quite on that level. It's different to compare. It's different, but yeah, definitely different. But oh man, again, just the acting in this show. I'm so glad we got to see Owen Wilson again. It was great. I can't praise them enough for it.
Yeah, and then such a great introduction for Jonathan Majors as Kang.
Yeah, John Majors. I keep forgetting about John Majors. Like, he did such a great job.
Man, it's like what a tone to set, like, for, to be introduced and killed in your first appearance, and then just also knowing that there's going to be many different versions of him that we're going to be seeing within, for the foreseeable future. Who knows when all these storylines will be wrapped up, but man, just something to look forward to, because he really knocked it out of the park in like the 40 minutes that he had in this episode.
Exactly. Like, I mean, and also applaud again to just Marvel. Like, this is basically them opening the doors, saying, yeah, with this episode, the multiverse is coming. We are going to get other versions. We're opening to almost any villain possible. Obviously, except for Hulk stuff, just because, they still don't have the rights to Hulk's universe, so they won't get everybody. But like, we could maybe see Galactus. We may see, like, we're going to get everybody, essentially. Like, there's no telling what can happen at this point.
Oh, yeah. The possibilities are endless.
Venom Spider-Man may be a thing. The Black Suit Spider-Man, like, in the MCU. But then that's Sony still has that. So, I don't know. But this was such a great way for Disney to Marvel to just say, the stakes are raised. You guys are going to get way more epic stories and characters now. Like, thank you.
Yeah, it really, like, set up phase 4, like, proper. Like, this is like, all right, now this is where we're headed going forward. Like, everything we've gotten up to this point has just been more character centric and a little bit smaller scale. But this one is just like, nope, this is the universe as a whole going forward. Like, this is what we're gonna be doing now, and it's like, man, it's so exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. But any other shout outs you want to give, Burn, to any to the crew or anything before we finish up?
Yeah, the director, Kate Herron, she directed all 6 episodes, and really, I think, basically, I don't know, I'm not familiar with her work outside of the show, but she really set the standard for what I think, like I said, the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole going forward. It's like, man, she had like such a pretty big task at hand if we really think about it, and she really knocked it out of the park. So big hats off to her, and the two writers. What's his name? Michael Waldron and Eric Martin. Both Rick and Morty alums, and now working in the MCU. And it's like, man, they took all the best sensibilities from that show and then brought it over to here. And now they're playing around with stuff that I'm familiar with. It's like, man, this is really really cool. And as we've said throughout, they really nailed these characters and all the interactions and stuff. So again, the writing has been super consistent and super high level throughout all 6 episodes. So. Yeah, a big shout out to them. And then last but not least, the composer for the series, Natalie Holt. I think this is probably her first time composing something. I'm looking at her credits and she doesn't really have much on here. But this is like
well, then that's fantastic.
yeah. So this is really like a big like coming out party for her. And man, did she like nail it, because the music in the show was absolutely fantastic. It was a character on its own.
Yeah, it definitely. I like that it was consistent. It really kept setting the tone. Like, even though every episode the story escalated, like the score still felt relevant. It didn't feel like, oh, we've already heard this 50,000 times and we already know what's happening, kind of thing.
Yeah.
This just kept that ominous feeling throughout this show, and
it just stood out too. I mean, that's one of the things that it's been a particular complaint of mine of the Marvel scores. There hasn't been many that like catch your attention. I mean, the ones that only really come to mind are the Avengers and Black Panther, and then now I'll add Loki onto that list, because it's such a distinct and very just like, when you hear it, you know where it's from, and it's like, that's the best thing you can say about music as a whole.
Exactly. But now that that's over, that's no end to Marvel stuff again this year. We still got the What If series. We got the What If series coming out next month. Hawkeye, Miss Marvel set to come out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be an epic next few season. Like summer and winter, fall and winter, and then
we live in California. Yeah. It's just summer and winter.
Basically, yeah. And then we got Space Jam coming out this week. There's a lot more stuff coming, so I'm excited. This has been a great year so far, so I can't wait.
We're right in the thick of summer, and it's like it's a new release every week, so there won't be a shortage of things to talk about for sure.
There will not. But until next time, guys, if you saw anything you liked in this episode or series in general, let us know in the comments. Stay bodacious, keep on ranting and burn. I will talk to you later, my brother.
Alrighty, my man. I'll see y'all. Be good, be safe, everybody, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Yep, indeed. See ya, dude.
Adios.